This task is assessment task 1, which is a project and comes from the plan and deliver exercise cluster. The units covered in this assessment task are SIS FIT 002, recognise and apply exercise considerations for specific populations, and SIS FIT 004, incorporate anatomy and physiology principles into fitness programming. The goal of this task is to assess your ability to develop fitness programs. During the task, you will be developing 2 fitness programs. The first fitness program is going to be for a client that you previously assessed during your screening cluster. The second program is going to be for yourself based on your needs and your fitness testing results. So if we look at the task in more detail, as mentioned, you're required to develop 2 programs. So the first program is a client you assess for screening and induction, and you'll need to use their actual results. So if we have a look, previously in assessment task 2 with the screening cluster, you undertook 2 screening processes. You need to use the results of one of these screening processes completed in this task as part of this task here. For your second program, you're required to write the program based on your own fitness testing and appraisal results. So this would have been completed on you by a fellow student earlier in the course. And you need to write a program for yourself. So we've got client 1 is you need to write a program for a client that you performed a screening process on. And then for program 2, you need to write a program for yourself. So the task requires you to write 2 programs and upload 2 programs. Some key points you need to consider when developing the programs are, so first of all, you need to consider that clients' needs and expectations are being met. So what that means is that they have set goals for themselves and have had fitness tests performed on them as part of their appraisal. You need to make sure that the program aligns with their needs or what they're hoping to achieve. The principles of training need to be applied effectively. So again, you will have now learned about the principles of training. So an example would be specificity. You need to make sure that the program is specific to their needs and their goals. The intensity is another one. You need to make sure that principle has been applied, that the intensity is appropriate to the client based upon their goals and their fitness testing results. So appropriate exercises are chosen. So are the exercises appropriate to their goals? Are they too advanced, or are they at an appropriate level? If they're looking for lots of back exercises because they need to strengthen their back more, have you just got chest exercises on there, which would be wrong. So you need to make sure the exercises are appropriate. In relation to prime movers and muscle groups, on your program we don't ask you to write the muscles and movements in, but this is more about you demonstrating that you have an understanding of movements and muscles by choosing the right exercises. So if we use the previous example, if you put all back exercises on there and no chest exercises, no leg exercises, you would probably be showing us that you haven't really developed a knowledge of all the movements required and the muscles associated with them. Also, you'll be asked in later tasks in the observations to actually say what muscles are working during the exercises. So this is a really important part of your knowledge. You need to make sure the exercise is ordered logically. Compound exercises, obviously, before isolation exercises, which you would have learnt in class, an important one. So you wouldn't put tricep push downs before a bench press, for example. And that the program is balanced in relation to the client's needs and limitations. Again, if you have a chest exercise, have a back exercise on there. And also aligns with their goals. So if they want to improve their strength, you wouldn't have all cardiovascular exercises on there because, again, it's not aligning with their needs. So some things you need to include in the program: an appropriate warm-up, a variety of cardiovascular exercises. You can apply individual, fartlek, or continuous training. Resistance training exercises, including both resistance machines and free weights. Some core stability exercises and a cool down, including flexibility exercises. So make sure you include all those key components as part of your program. You need to complete your programs on the program templates provided. So if you look at the bottom of the page, we have a section where you can download templates. So again, what you need to do is just click on the arrow and that will bring up a template. which looks like you can see on the screen. A common question is, which columns do you need to populate on the template? Do you need to populate all the columns? Well, you don't need to. It's depending upon the exercise that's being used. So if you see here, it's part of the warm-up, which should be up the top here, but I've got a stationary bike. I have put in there intensity and duration. They're the only two columns I've put in because that's all that's appropriate to this cardiovascular activity. Whereas for seated row, it's the resistance exercise. I put in the sets, the reps, the load, the rest in between sets, and the speed of movement as well. So you only are required to complete the columns that are appropriate for the activity or the exercise. So when you've completed your two programs, you're required to submit them up the top of the page. So again, we've said it a few times during this presentation, you need to make sure you submit two programs, not just one. Also at the bottom of the page is an assessment rubric or a checklist. This is what your trainer and assessor will use to assess that you've achieved all the requirements of this task. So when they look at your programs, they'll be making sure that it considers the client's needs, that it applies the principles of programming, etc. So use this checklist as a bit of a guide when you're completing your programs. If you require further assistance in relation to this assessment task, please don't hesitate to speak to your VFA trainer and assessor.